Alright, welcome back YouTube. Brother Kimo here from Reload Hawaii. Check what's on the log tonight, guys. In my humble opinion, I think we've got two of the best polymer striker-fired 5-inch pistols available on the market today. And we're talking about the M&P Smith & Wesson M&P Core, which stands for Competition Optic Ready Equipment in the Pro Series 9mm, and the Walther PPQ, also in 5-inch. So what I'll do tonight for you guys is kind of break down really quickly why you would want a 5-inch pistol, and of course we'll do from the sights down to the grips, and I'll show you a little bit of the takedown procedure in case you're trying to decide which one of these two you want to pick up, or maybe you haven't even considered one of these two, and now you want to compare them with what you're trying to pick up. So just really briefly, guys, some of the advantages that you're going to hear people talking about, you know, having a longer slide, increased sight radius, and for me that's the #1 reason, meaning that when you look down the back sights through the front post, you got more real estate down here, and your eye really has an easier time keeping the barrel down on target down range because of a longer barrel. Some people will say that it's less felt recoil because the barrel is longer. It puts more weight on the end of the muzzle, and that much more, you know, the inch longer barrel helps control the recoil a little bit better. That's kind of, in my opinion, not the case because it's so subjective, right? Anybody can say, oh yeah, I can feel less recoil, man. For me, it's all about the sight radius, and of course for me, I'm a recreational shooter. I shoot maybe twice a month. The extra velocity, you know, I don't really notice, but for those expert shooters, you know, that's going to be a real advantage for them. But those are some of the things that you're going to see people talking about with the 5-inch barrel. Now, some of the disadvantages are it's harder to conceal. So this is not something you normally want to carry concealed or even carry open. But for me, I live in the state of Hawaii. We cannot carry concealed or open, so a large majority of my shooting is done at 25 and 50 yards, and that's basically what this is meant to do. These are race guns, guys. They're ready to go right out of the box. Can you run an IPSC and IDPA or action shooting? You just break these out of the box and go for it. Yeah, they're absolutely ready to go. So those are some brief reasons why you might want to consider picking up a 5-inch pistol, especially if you're in a state like mine that doesn't allow you to carry either open or concealed. So let's get into the review, guys. Both of these are polymer frames. They both have steel slides. I know for sure that the M&P Smith & Wesson is a stainless steel. It uses a melanite finish on the barrel and the slide, very similar to what they have in the AR-15s. The Walther uses a finish called Tenifer. Both of these are extremely durable finishes. You see good reviews about them everywhere on the internet, and you're going to get your people that are really nitpicky. But as a whole, both finishes are really good. So let's start with the core. Core, guys, like I mentioned before, stands for Competition Optic Ready Equipment, and the reason being is the top of the slide is already drilled and tapped for a red dot, whether it's a reflex or micro red dot, whatever. It comes with a bag here, this guy here, and what that'll do is it's supposed to fit a large majority of the red dots out there. So you'll remove the Allen bolts here, and then you'll put the plate on top of here, and then you'll put the red dot right on top of it, and then basically you have a pistol that's ready to go for competition. You're going to notice that the sights are a little bit higher. That is so you can co-witness, meaning you can use the red dot as well as the iron sights as a backup, or to co-witness, meaning you can see the red dot running right down the post. Or even in case, let's say your red dot battery dies or malfunctions, you can still use the iron sights to see through there and line up your shots well. And these are steel, so they're very durable. And the advantage of having a higher sight too is you can use these for one-handed drills to practice if one of your either your hand gets broken or your arm is incapacitated. You can practice racking it on your belt or your shoe or a countertop, just in case you get into one of those situations. So that's a benefit of one of these guys, and that is the main benefit of this pistol. Just kind of keeping it on the point of the slide, you see a little bit of taper action. What that's supposed to do is help your eye, it'll bring your eye focus right up down that slide to keep it focused. You're going to see a little bit more of a taper on the Walther. Serrations on the back, and you'll notice that there's some grooves cut out here, especially one in the front. That's supposed to help with reholstering. It acts kind of like a funnel. So that's what the slide looks like on the Smith & Wesson. PPQ, 3-dot system. These are made out of plastic. They are windage adjustable. Basically, all you're going to do is take a screwdriver and back it in and out. It'll, this way or that way, depending on which way you screw it. The front post, for me, there's a little bit too much space in between the notch here, but not a deal breaker. Really nice serrations on the front and the rear. You can see the same notch cut out here for funneling. So it's actually really useful for press checking. as well, you know, to see if there's a round in there. I notice a lot of people like to do that as well. And you can see the tapering is a lot more extreme here. And again, the idea behind the design is to keep your eyes focused on that longer sight radius as you're focusing down range. The vents on the slide here are not functional. I read a bunch of articles saying that it does lead to weight reduction, obviously because it's not there. You know, the metal's not there. But this is not ported at all for gas, so you don't have to worry about it heating up much, and it's not like it's a machine gun anyway. So those are what the slides look like. Bringing it around to the Picatiny Rail guys here. These are both Picatiny Rails. You can put whatever accessories you want. In fact, I've been reading stuff about what sights people like the most, because here you're going to mount your red dot onto the slide. Here you're either going to have to send your slide out to have it drilled and tapped to fit one specific sight. And that's the advantage of the core again, is you can you can choose what red dot you want. You don't have to stick to one brand. But when you have your slide drilled and tapped, that plate that they put on there most likely is only going to be good for one. The other alternative is to use this Picatiny rail here, to use a rail mount, which will basically kind of curve over the frame and sit over the slide like that, and the red dot will sit on top of it. So the debate I was talking about is, which is better, red dot that is drilled onto the frame and having it cycle back and forth with the slide, or having a rail that comes up above it and having the red dot sit on top of it and having the slide cycle back and forth without moving the slide. I've seen multiple competitors use them. I guess my only advice would be to pick what's right for you, because I think you can train yourself into one way or another. But as always, you want to make your journey as easy as possible. So whatever's going to give you the least amount of resistance, I would say go on that path. But so you would have to use the sight mount, or the slide mount here, and then a rail mount that way. Leading over to the slide stop, guys, really massive slide stop on both sides, right? So ambidextrous slide stops, and it's really big here. The likelihood of you missing this is a lot less than you actually missing the smaller area here on the M and P. So that's a difference there too. You can see the trigger guard here is relatively smaller. It is rounded out. It's not grooved out. The the Walther is a larger squared out grooved area here. So I know a lot of people are getting into the style where they put their pointer finger on the trigger guard. So if that's something that you like to do, you might want to consider that as well. And you notice that the magazine release here, this button is massive compared to the one that's on the Smith & Wesson. So, and these are reversible, so if you're left-handed, you just got to pop it out and put it on the reverse side, and that's true for both pistols. Looking at the grips really quickly here, and I have relatively small hands, and that's the reason I like the Walther, is I can actually reach the magazine with one hand. So if you're going to be running competitions and you need to get really quick reloads, that's a really nice option to have. And I also think that the grip is a lot more comfortable because of the contours here on the back strap, and you can see the contours here on the side panel as well as here on the front strap, where the Smith is more of a block. You know, it's kind of straight up and down. The grip is going to be longer on this one because this came with a 17 round mag versus a 15 round mag, so that's something to consider too when trying to decide between both. And then both of these back straps are reversible. They come with 3 separate back straps. Right now these are wearing the middle size ones, and here's what the Smith & Wesson large looks like. Looks like that. And I believe that this is the large on the Walther. And you take them off in a couple different ways. I'm going to give the edge to the Smith here, because with the Walther there's a roll punch here that you got to knock out. That once it's not in here, I removed it so I can show you how this comes out. And basically you just peel it like that, and it slides out, and you can put whatever size you want on there. But for that, you gotta carry a punch for that, so kind of a inconvenience. The Smith does it a little bit different. There's a tool hiding right in here, and all you gotta do is turn it sideways. You can use the magazine to kind of take it out there, and then the back strap will come off that way. Incidentally, the tool can also be used to take down the slide with the little latch on the inside, and I'll show you what that looks like when we take it down. And that's what that looks like there. So I'll give, you know, the takedown for the grip panels definitely to the Smith, because, you know, I don't really always carry punches. I have to actually search for my punches when I want to take it down. Lastly, really quickly, the Smith & Wesson is 24 ounces unloaded. This is 27 ounces unloaded, so the Smith is a little bit lighter. And again, just going over the magazine capacity, 15 versus 17. Lastly, I just want to go over this ending portion here. The Smith has an extended beaver tail. You see how far it comes up to the web of my hand, and that's really going to help you on your recovery shots. And that's important because you get way up on here. And again, just really briefly here, if we could fire the pistol like this and have the slide cycle straight back, there is no pivot point to that. You know, it would just be moving like this. But unfortunately, us being human beings and not some sort of a strange alien, the best we can do is minimize the distance between these two areas, and that's what this is. It's lowering the bore axis so we can control that pivot point. And just to show you what that looks like there, on the the Walther, doesn't go as deep, but because the grip is so comfortable, it kind of compensates for that. So I really like the grip on this. Now, I told you the major advantage of this was the ability to put a red dot of any type on top of this. There is a lot of talk about the trigger on this guy, because that's really important. I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm going to drop the mag here. Just going to rack it. Alright, so there's the sear, guys. I'm going to pull it. Here's what the reset looks like. Very short, and it clicks really loud. Bang. One more time. Just so you can hear it. Click. Very crisp. Really good advantage when you're squeezing off a lot of shots in a rapid succession. Here goes the Smith & Wesson. So there's a trigger. A little bit spongy. Okay, that's a pretty crisp break too. But here is the reset. A little bit, it's more of a feel. It's not a really loud click. One last time. Got it. Bang. Okay. So those are the differences between the triggers, guys, and a big deal is made over the Walther trigger because it's very similar to an HK in its styling, but a lot less expensive. And I think the new HK that came out actually was supposed to compete with this. I think Walther was getting a bunch of their business away. Okay, so let's get on to the breakdown procedure. Both of them are pretty easy. I just dropped the mag out there. That's what I did. So for the Walther, all you got to do is rack it. And then what you'll do is there's a little lever here, and you just pull it down. And then what you do is when you take it back, you just fire it at the same time, and it'll come out. Oop, I missed it. All right, and it comes out like that. So there's that. Let me get these off to the side. And then the Smith is a little bit more difficult because there's a takedown lever here, and basically what you got to do first is you got to lock it back here. Once it's locked back, there's a little takedown area right here for the lever to go down on. So you just got to bring that down. And then as you're going forward, basically all you do is you fire it, and it comes off like that. And the little yellow latch here, you can lift that with the pin if you didn't want to dry fire it. So you'll lift it, and then that'll basically take the place of the dry fire, and the pistol will slide apart that way. So guys, that's it. Those are the two pistols that I got right now that I think are really good investments if you're looking at 5-inch pistols. If you got any questions, leave them on the bottom. And if you like the information that I'm giving you guys, hit the like button, because I need it. And as always, guys, if you like the video, please subscribe to my channel if you like the information I'm giving you. And as always, guys, I will catch you later.